Let's get some music playing.
Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawks here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
You can start. Russ, the West Ham Network. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new around here, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share, give it a subscribe on this interesting evening for West Ham fans. Obviously, the last 32 second legs of the Europa League games, half have already happened and half are kicking off now, so to speak, or are playing now. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, the live draw is tomorrow from 11 o'clock. We'll be live. Definitely me and Anton, maybe Stella as well. So make sure you join us for that. And I bring you today another My Hammers 11 with an ex-player and another goalkeeper. Another goalkeeper. We have so many. We've interviewed loads of goalkeepers on the channel. Must be because they're such a lovely bunch of people. Let me bring him in. Where is he? Where is it? Where's old Banksy? There he is. Hi, Steve. How are you?
How are you?
How are you? Bit of a delay, but you're all right, Steve.
Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, very good.
How's and for many people who don't know that the fact that obviously Steve is currently what's it saying your LinkedIn? Is it Blackpool head goalkeeper coach at the moment? How's that all going at the moment?
Yeah, very good. A tough season. We got promoted to the Championship last year, and so big step up. Difficult season. We're sort of around middle of the table, which I think for the first season back in the Championship, I would call fairly successful. Our aim is to stay in the Championship and then obviously build from then. If we can do that, then I think the first season will be a success.
Yeah, definitely. And it's one of those things that, obviously as a goalkeeper coach, obviously, the success of the team, the goalkeeper is one of the most is the pivotal piece of a team, and we've known that many years at West Ham. We've had some good goalkeepers. So as a goalkeeper coach, particularly going back into Championship, extra pressure for you, or just carry on regardless, carry on doing what you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, I think you do carry on doing what you do because you're hopeful that what you do brings success and improves the goalkeepers. And so you try and do that. The level that you're now playing at is obviously a better level, a lot more physical, a lot more technical, with better players. So the information you have to give the keepers really a bit more in depth because it's a better level. Basically, that's the reason why. So, but it's very enjoyable, and we're doing okay at the moment. So I'm very much enjoying my time here.
Good, yeah, definitely. And do you keep, obviously, as obviously you play for West Ham, but many other clubs as well. Do you always keep an eye out for certain teams' results on the Saturday after? Obviously, you finish the game with Blackpool and whatnot. Do you always keep an eye out for the West Ham results or the other teams you played with?
Funny enough, I do keep an eye on West Ham's results for a very good reason. He supports them, so he's a hammer. So yeah, we often have conversations about how West Ham are getting on, and he sends me messages when they win and we're fourth in the league and stuff like that now. So yeah, so he's definitely a big hammer. So I keep my eye on all the teams that I played for, see how they're getting on, because I've been pretty fortunate that every club I've been at, I've always had quite an affinity. I've always gone well with the fans, and I've had a bit of success at places, and every club has some kind of fond memory for me. So I always have a look back and see how they get on. And I've been fortunate enough that in my time, like when West Ham finished playing at Upton Park, the last game against Manchester United, I got an invite to come down, and so it was a real big thing for me to watch the last game at Upton Park, where I'd sort of like spent a few years and really enjoyed being, to go and see the last game. So yeah, West Ham still has a big part of my life, really.
Yeah. Well, I suppose it was West Ham was really your sort of formative years, wasn't it? So you sort of joined as a trainee in 1990. So sort of it was sort of your cutting your teeth really in the sort of being a professional footballer, really. So there's always going to be that affinity because that's where you started off your career, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, obviously signed as a youth team player, and then went on to stay for 3 years as a professional. So it was my first taste of senior professional football to know what it was all about. And I don't think I could have probably been at a better club. You had Tony Carr, who was the head of the youth, who brought players through every single year. He was there for 20, 30 years, whatever it was in the end. So I don't think I could have been at a better club to have tried to come through to be a professional footballer and give me the best opportunity. And lucky enough, it happened for me, and I became a professional, which is what my dream was.
Yeah, and as you said, as a youth team player, obviously starting at West Ham, was there other? Could you have gone to another club? Was there other clubs? Were you looking at other clubs? Were you playing for other clubs at the same time, or was it? Did West Ham come calling, and that was it?
No, well, that's how really West Ham came about. I'm playing for my local really, and I've been playing a few years up. Like I was maybe only 16, and I was playing in like the under-20s and things like that. And Tottenham had asked me to go in on trial for a week. So I told my manager at the time, the first team manager, that this had happened, and he said, "Well, I know somebody at West Ham, and I'll get you a trial there." So that's what happened. Went to West Ham at Tottenham, and I obviously must have performed fairly well because I got invited back. And from then on, I used to go back in school holidays, and fortunate enough that Phil Parks lives in the same town as my mum and dad. So Phil used to pick me up in the morning, drive me into training during the school holidays, bring me home again, and it sort of carried on from there. And then eventually, obviously, signed as a full-time youth team player.
Yeah, amazing, and it's funny the amount of
it's quite odd how it works.
It is. It's weird, isn't it? It's like we remember interviewing Slater, Stu, and Stu was saying when he was a kid, in the same way, obviously Phil sort of took you under his wing and drove you into training and stuff during the school days. He had Tonka literally going to all of his youth team games and stuff like that, and just that sort of association with someone like for yourself as a goalkeeper, Phil Parks. Fucking hell, he must have been one of your guys you looked up to, and so now he's driving you to training. It must be sort of a bit weird, but it must have been they must think I'm quite good if Phil Parks is looking after me, so to speak.
Yeah. Probably didn't think that at the time. I didn't really realise at the time. He's a young, naive kid. But I mean, I still speak with Phil now. He still stays in the same sort of town as my mum and dad. We still send Christmas cards. If I ever get the chance to go to my mum and dad to see them during the, if I get the opportunity, I'll knock on the door and hopefully he's in, and just to say hello, really. So still keep in contact. For someone who goes for a world record fee of, I think it was about £550,000 at the time or something, from QPR to West Ham. So that shows the quality keeper he was, and for him to take the time out to take me to training, when I'm on school holiday, I think it shows the man that he is, really.
Definitely. And obviously, as you said, you signed up, you became a professional, and as so on and so forth. And obviously, you had quite a good couple of goalkeepers, within in that squad as well. And but as we said, you did something which I think everyone in the chat and everyone I've spoken to who's a fan would have swapped their life for, in terms of playing for West Ham, albeit once, but it doesn't matter. It was one time in a European game, technically. technically the
Yes, it was.
Anglo-Italian
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
against Bristol Rovers, but I don't know how
Not
that
best of
worked.
memories about the game, I must admit. Not the
Yeah,
best of memories. I don't think I performed particularly well. But through sometimes bad times come good times because you learn from it, and it does stick in my mind. That one game sticks in my mind for even though, as I said, it wasn't a particularly good game for me. Just
yeah,
the fact that I played a game for West Ham
yeah,
meant an awful lot to me. That was what I wanted to do. Signing for West Ham was to play for them. Ultimately, the reason why I was left because I was never going to get in the first team. The goalkeepers above me were way, way superior to me.
mm,
And the best thing for me was to leave and go and find a career and a path somewhere else to get me to be a
yeah,
full-time professional football. But West Ham did me a great bonding. And I think due to it being West Ham, it's sort of like given me a real good start to football, and it's me through my career really.
yeah, definitely. And we've interviewed lots of people in a similar boat to yourself, Steve. A lot of the guys from say the youth cup winning side of '99, people like Adam Newton and Lee Hodges and people like that, and Izzy Kupen who basically did the same thing as you. They could have probably stayed at West Ham and played within the squad, but you got that taste of first team football, and that's what you wanted. So dropping down to a league, another league, just to get that career, as you said, and you made a career out of it, and played a lot of first team football. I mean that nowadays, I think it's a real testimony to guys like yourselves that you did that, because nowadays I think a lot of people, particularly you look at people like Chelsea and stuff with so many players on their books, and I know they go out on loan, but they're still sort of loanees, and it seems that it's all about playing in the Premier League, where actually it's about having a career, and you guys had a career, albeit not at West Ham, but at other clubs. And as you said, then you go into goalkeeper coaching, and obviously doing well at Blackpool at the moment. So it all works out, doesn't it, in a strange about way?
Yeah, I just think it wasn't to be for me at West Ham really.
Yeah,
I've got no gripes about that whatsoever. But what I would say is that as I said, they've given me a good grounding. Ended up going on loan to Gillingham for the last
yeah,
6 months of my contract. A men's first team football experience, and I mean Gillingham were in. I think it might have even been League Four back then. It was like that was what it was in 1, 2, 3, and 4.
yeah,
Struggling towards the bottom of the league, but I played first team football. Come the summer, they offered me a contract to stay for 2 years, and that was me up and going. And then from then, because I was playing regular, I had 2 seasons. I'd got Player of the Years. I'd won Man of the Match years, and I ended up getting a move off the back of that. So
yeah,
you know, I think sometimes you look now and you've got the under 23s that are around now, and
mm,
some lads are being released at under 23s at 23, never played a first team game. They've only ever played
yeah,
under 23s.
mm,
So, they're sort of getting towards being men that you don't know whether they can actually play in men's football. So, for
mm.
going out at such a young age and getting some experience, worked for me anyway. That worked for me. I'm not saying it's going to work for everybody, but it worked for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And you're right. I think the thing about where you used to have maybe the old reserve team set up, the old combinations league, rather than necessarily the under 23s, bit more of a bit. It was, as you said, you're totally right with the under 23s. There's a lot of good players, particularly at West Ham. A lot of good players, a lot of good under 23 players who aren't maybe necessarily breaking into the first team. And you're right, they end up just being released or going for a nominal fee, and actually they end up making something of their life as a career, and we go, let that one go, annoyingly, but as you said,
Yeah,
it's all about the progression of play.
very difficult. Yeah, especially at the very elite level, to
Mm,
break into somebody's first team from coming through the ranks is very difficult. Having
mm,
said that, West Ham probably there's not too many more teams that are better at it than West Ham. Over
yeah,
the years, there's been numerous players that have come through from youth team to reserve football to first team, and they do it very well. But yeah, I mean, as I said, my time was great at West Ham, and fond memories.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's get some questions because I've got some questions here from the people, and I always don't worry, they're all nice. They're always nice. First question is from Mark, who lives in Scotland. So there'll be a few more Scottish questions from Mark, I guarantee, about your time up in Scotland. What do you think about the possibility of a Rangers West Ham clash in the Europa League? Very possible if they hang on at the moment against Dortmund. Hello? Hello,
Sorry,
Steve.
I missed that. Sorry.
It's all right. Don't be worried. Don't worry. We've got a delay. It's just fine. What do you think about the possibility of West Ham and Rangers playing in the Europa League next round, which could happen?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know how Rangers are getting on at the moment. I think the last time I looked, it was one each.
Yeah, I think it's
obviously
2-1.
going
It's
into the
2-1 to
league
Dortmund.
anyway.
Yeah, so they're
Okay,
just
right.
in the lead.
So yeah, if the possibilities there, obviously, and it'd be a fantastic game. I mean, having spent 11 years up in Scotland against Rangers at times, fanatical fans, great stadium. As West Ham, great fans, great stadium, great club, lots of history for both teams. It would be a fantastic game up now.
Definitely. And a question from Helen: what do you think of the current crop of West Ham goalkeepers, with Fabianski and Areola particularly?
Current what? Sorry.
The current crop.
Yeah,
So West Ham,
Fabianski.
Areola, and Fabianski.
Yeah, Fabianski's done fantastic. Yeah, I think he's a really good goalkeeper, and obviously it's tough being a number two. You have to take your chances when they come, which I think Areola's had a few chances in the cup, I think. But Fabianski's done so well that it's difficult to dislodge him. But they've got two fantastic goalkeepers. As the team's done fantastic this season, really has performed well, getting all the plaudits that they deserve. And I think they'll go from strength to strength. And I think having two strong keepers there has obviously helped them as well.
Yeah, totally. Is it a situation where, because they're both, in essence, they both could be number ones? Is that, I can imagine that being a good thing in terms of competition, but could it be a bad thing as well, in that no one really knows, the defenders don't know who's going to be behind them between the sticks? Is it? I don't know. I can see both sides. Why it's a positive thing, but also maybe you don't get that consistency if they could equally both be number one.
Yeah, without a doubt they can both be number ones. That's for sure, for definite. But what I would say is that this day and age, the size of the clubs, like especially West Ham, they need two keepers at the level that they've got to maintain being in the top six. You have to have that level of goalkeeper. So it's down to the goalkeeper coach, the rest of the staff, to keep the keepers happy. Having said that, I would only imagine, because I don't know, the recruitment that they do is that the two keepers are fantastic characters, wanting to fight for the place, but understand the role and back the person who's playing at the time, which makes it, harmonious and makes it a good place to be. They work hard, push each other, but at the end of the day, they'll shake each other's hands and say good luck when they walk out on that pitch. And I doubt that that's what they got. And that makes it for a good place for the West Ham keepers.
And you're right, actually. I think goalkeeper is probably one of the only positions where it's like that, I think, because, we talk about the goalkeeper union that everyone talks about. But, I mean, we've had lots of guys who, as we said, we had Tom McAllister on, and we've had Ian Foyer, and we've had guys in who would have been the number two. And I remember saying to Ian, and I said to Tom as well, with, Ludo or Phil, whoever, obviously, respectively, would you goes, yeah, we wanted them to do well, and I wanted them to play well, and I'd wish them well, but I've just had to be ready in case they got injured, so I could take my chance. But I wouldn't wish they'd be injured because I want the team to do well in the long haul, and it made perfect sense. And it just seems with goalkeepers they have that togetherness. You train separately as well. Well, you used to. You train a bit more like integrated now, but used to be you train separately. And there's this special bond with goalkeepers, and I know that's even true because obviously I'm part of the little Facebook group, and everyone talks to each other. It's lovely. It's lovely how it all how you have this sort of special union.
Well, I think we all respect how hard the job is, and understand the efforts that all the keepers put in to perform to their highest abilities.
Yeah,
So there is that union. We are almost like a bit of a team within a team,
yeah,
because we do train separately at times, and we, obviously now as time's gone on, we're a bit more integrated into the whole team. But we understand how tough it is, and you want your partner to play well and perform because you want to be part of a successful team. The number two role is a really, really difficult role. I did it for a number of years up in Scotland.
yeah.
Luckily, I was in with being a goalkeeper coach at the same time. But you have to work tirelessly for every day of the week without a game at the end of it on a Saturday, and that's really difficult because at any moment in that Saturday's game you could be called upon to go on and perform. And if you haven't worked hard enough during the week, then you're not going to be ready. You're not going to take your chance, and you might not stay in the team. Even if you don't stay in the team, they'll know, well, when that keeper goes back again, we know he's going to be able to perform, having not played for the last month or 2 months, whatever it might be. So it's a really difficult role. Sometimes it takes a certain type of person to play that role, but I think going back to the West Ham, the keepers, they've got two goalkeepers there who can play without a shadow of a doubt in as a number one, and I think they're in a very strong position, and I think it's been great recruitment getting the two of them in.
Definitely, I totally agree. A question from Sharky on your time at West Ham. Who were the best characters at West Ham during your time there? Who was good for a laugh or pulling a prank?
Well, I think probably in the early days, when I was sort of 17, 18, the squad was really, I mean, like everyone we had some real characters in the team. It was back then it was a bit different. It was, I don't like the saying old school, but it was a bit like that
Yeah,
where, I was in the youth team changing in the dressing room next to it. You knock on the door to go into the first team dressing room, and you used to keep your head down when you were kit up because the last thing you want is one of the first team players to start picking on you or, like start having a bit of a muck around with you. But they all had it, it was loads of different characters. So, I remember, Julian Dix was there, obviously, and, what a character he was, strong, and
yeah,
his character was as he was a player. Tony Gale was a character. God dear me. Let me think who else was there. Bish was there. Bish was a hell of a character, great character.
yeah,
Trevor Morley was another one. Bish and Trev were always together, and like a bit of a laugh in the dressing room. So everybody brought something to the dressing room, which was why it was such a good dressing room. Loads of different actors, but they all bounced off each other, and made it such a good place to be.
yeah. Totally, and as I said before we just started, it seemed we was talking about. You said it was quite tricky putting together your Hammers 11, and it's almost like for me there's like two eras in the period you were sort of a professional really at West Ham. In that you were coming that sort of old like the Phil Parkes era was just coming to an end, and then the Ludo era was just about to start. So you had like this influx of Alvin was coming to the end of his career, so to speak, of a couple of more years there, but he was coming to the end. Whereas people like Potsy, and so you had this really sort of like two sort of, and then obviously as you said Bish and Morley, and that era then led forward into the sort of the mid 90s. So it was a real sort of a transitional period of West Ham, I think, as they were eventually getting into the Premier League.
That maybe and that maybe reflects in my team, to be honest, when I picked it, because my early days, I do remember the likes of Alvin and just the presence he had around the place, and he was a West Ham legend. Legends are always. It's quite easy to say that about people at times, but
Yeah.
I believe these players are. They've been there for such a long time. They're household names to all the Hammers supporters, and I think my West Ham 11 is sort of like a crossover, like you just said, of maybe a couple of eras, really.
Yeah. Nice. Well, let's get on to it, Steve. Let's get through it. So, as I said, we've had I reckon we've always had 100 ex players on the channel, and each one puts together their 11. Apart from Bish. Bish didn't do one because he's too nice. He didn't want to, in case he missed anyone out. Bish and Harry. Harry didn't do one either because he started talking about Bobby Ferguson, and then ran out of time. So we put together an 11. The only, and it's basically the guys you trained and played with during your time at West Ham. So who's between the sticks? Who's between the sticks for the Banks 11?
Well, whether you believe this or not, this was actually my most difficult decision to make, and I'm going to sit on the fence and say I could not make a decision on who I wanted in goal, and I'm sure you can probably guess the two that I've chosen. Obviously, Phil Parkes and Ludo.
Yeah.
I just could not at all decide between the two for a number of reasons. Phil, for what he did for me, as well as being a great goalkeeper, changed goalkeeping at West Ham. He came in and done fantastic for them. And then when Ludo comes in, changed goalkeepers yet again by being so athletic. I remember pre-season running, and generally we was goalkeepers at the back because we never did that type of thing. And he was like in the top four. Maybe he could have at first at times. His athleticism was unbelievable. And another top bloke who I speak to regularly now. So these two goalkeepers and men mean an awful lot to me. Not just personally, but in my career, but they meant a lot. So I'm sorry to say that I couldn't decide between the two.
It's fine. It's like the Areola Fabianski debate. That's fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give you that one for personal reasons. Right. Okay. Let's go.
Then me on the bench. Me on the bench.
You're on the bench.
Me on the bench as the reserve team goalkeeper. Yeah. So, if only. And then I've gone right back for Ray Stewart.
Tonka. Yeah.
Yeah, I've gone for him for a number of reasons. His tenacity, penalties, obviously. I think he was a real good player. Had another one who had a big influence on me so young. And I think because he's in my West Ham 11 shows. All of these players that I've actually had a big influence shows that they were such good players.
Did he ever practice a penalty against you, Tonka?
He didn't need to. Every time he just went up and scored anyway. He didn't need to practice it. So that's my right back. My right side is centre half. I've gone for Tony Gale.
Yeah, good old Reg.
Yeah, so obviously decent centre half, but very calm and collective on the ball. Decent ball player. So I've gone for him. And then my left side is centre half. I've gone for Alvin Martin. Another one where wears his heart on his sleeve. Put everything into his game. Great defender. So they did complement each other. So that's what I've gone for.
Nice.
Then left back, I've gone for Julian Dix. So I've gone for him. Tough player. Another one who can take penalties and free kicks and shots. Great player, great left-sided player, big character. Someone you'd want in your trenches with you when it was a difficult game.
Definitely.
So he was another one. Then midfield, I've gone for Stuart Slater, out on the wing.
Stuart Slater, nice.
Yeah, tricky winger. And then I've gone for Paul Ince, centre midfield.
Ooh, I haven't got a picture of Paul Ince. I must admit, I do apologise.
It's funny because I actually play against Reading on Saturday, and obviously Ince's just got the job there.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, so I'll be able
Yes.
to see him. So that'll be good. Catch up with him.
Nice.
My other centre midfielder, I've gone for Liam Brady.
Nice.
Nice left
Brilliant.
foot. Great player. Fantastic ball. And I've actually gone for my winger as Kevin Keane.
Love Kevin.
Kev
And obviously there's. I was about to say with Kevin, obviously he's obviously still involved in the obviously under 18s,
yes, yeah.
and obviously there's lots of people like Kenny Brown and people like that. They've all been, and it's great that there's that involvement. There's that sort of old player involvement in the club to keep that sort of West Hamness that you mentioned before in the club.
Yeah.
And someone like Kevin who's done every job it seems there.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, West Ham through and through, isn't he?
Yeah,
Great. He was a great player. Had fantastic skills. If there was a West Ham West Ham five-side team, he was fantastic with the ball at his feet.
yeah,
Go past two or three players really easy. Been in the game a long, long time. Still in it now. It shows the sort of player and character and person he is really. Yeah, so that makes my midfield up.
nice.
And then up front, I went with Liam Rossini. Oh, sorry, Leroy
yes.
Rossini.
Leroy
Went with
Rossini,
Leroy.
yes, not Liam.
Yeah.
Liam, I mean,
No, not Liam. No, Leroy. I went with Leroy. Yeah, so great in the air. Would be brilliant at headers. Great finisher. So he made it. And then my other final centre forward is Frank McAvenny.
Oh, lovely, love it. Good old Macca, top man. Yeah. Did you ever go on a night out with Frank?
No, I didn't. No. I was a bit too young back then. I was no drinking and all that sort of stuff. I was just more concentrated on becoming a professional footballer at the time when he was there. But obviously, he was scoring goals and fantastic performer for West Ham.
Yeah, as you said, and what I love that like some of the players you've picked. Yeah, I'm looking at guys like obviously Alvin and Macca and Tonka, and I mean these guys, they're not from round these parts, so to speak, but they're part of the West Ham fabric, and I mean Alvin obviously still lives around the area, despite the fact coming down from Scouserland, and it's great to see. It's great to see. It's a great team. I've got a picture. Let me put it together. Share my screen. There we go. Now, for someone who struggled, who was a bit worried about it, Steve, that's not a bad 11. And you've gone with the tactic of putting two goalkeepers in, which is better. I like that. No one's done that before.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a pretty decent team.
Yeah. I think it is. I think he's a pretty decent team, man. I think it is. I mean, one of the questions someone said, if you're still there, is who's going to be on pens? Who's going to be on pens with that team? That's the question. Steve's not there, but he looks very happy by it. I think Steve might have gone, but it doesn't matter. He looks very happy by his 11. Let me just see. I don't know if he's still there. Let me just move him for a little bit. You still there, Steve? You still there, or are you gone? I don't know. Steve, you still there? I don't know if he's there. I'll see if he changes. Anyway. That ain't a bad 11, I tell you. That ain't a bad 11 at all. Oh, Steve's come back in. There we go. I think Steve's out. He's in. He's out. He's in. He's out. He's got the blue ring. Oh, I hate that ring of death. Oh dear. There he is.
Yeah.
Hello, Steve. You were so excited by your 11. You buggered off.
Yes, I know. Yeah. It went all funny. Yeah. Sorry about that.
Don't matter, man.
So
the question.
Yeah, I think
Go on.
it was difficult choices, but it's not a bad team, I don't think.
Nah. Question for Mark: who would be on pens with Tonka and Julian?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it would be. I think it would be a very good tussle to who got to the ball first, wouldn't it, between the two of them?
It certainly would do. I'm gonna take one more question.
I think I'd probably let.
just let them fight it between themselves. I wouldn't get in the middle of them two. I'll be honest. To be honest, I think it's the safest way. Question from Mark: is it true that goalkeepers have to be mad on some level?
Probably imagine, yes, we have to be to a certain level, yeah. I think people's feet, and when you think about the amount of training that a goalkeeper does
Yeah,
during the week to do, to maybe make that one save on a Saturday. So I think it's sort of goalkeepers are generally, they workaholics basically. Work. I've been out on the training pitch from start to finish. First one's out, last one in, that type of thing. So to a certain degree, slightly mad, yeah. Some more mad than others, no doubt.
fair enough. Yeah, some are slightly madder than others, exactly. And that's a very diplomatic way of saying it. It is true though. I think, as you said, you are diving at people's feet and stuff like that. You've got to have slightly. Slightly. Did you always want to be a goalkeeper, Steve, or was you an outfield player and moved back into goal, or was you always a goalkeeper from a kid?
Always a goalkeeper. How I became a goalkeeper, I'd gone home from school one day at sort of like 7 or 8 and said to my dad, I want to go and play football. My dad's a mad, keen football. So took me up to my local team, dropped me off. I went to train for him for an hour, and he sort of came back like 10, 15 minutes to go, just to
I think Steve's Wi-Fi's kicking out. Oh dear, it doesn't matter. We had a great. He's put together a great 11, and it's been really interesting to talk to Steve. I'll tell you what, I'm gonna. There he is. Oh dear. There we go. Look, it's like Inception. There's gonna be two of him. But anyway, doesn't matter. Steve, it's okay, man. Don't worry, man. It's cool. I know you're having struggle. You're struggling. Don't worry, man. It's cool. Honestly. Don't worry, man. It's fine, mate. I appreciate your time anyway. It's like Inception. You had two of you there at the same time. Very weird. Steve, man. Honestly, don't worry. It's been great chatting to you, buddy. I don't. Your Wi-Fi's going to drop out again.
The wind and the storm that's up here.
Mate, it's not a problem at all. I appreciate your time anyway, buddy. And as I said, you put together a great 11 and some really interesting stories and some great questions. So you get your sleep, because you got Reading at the weekend, so you better get your sleep in. Big game against Reading at the weekend, man. So, but I really, really appreciate your time, man. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, there he is. Steve, it's all right, man. It's okay, man. You're okay. Steve, man, it's okay. I'm going to finish in a minute, but don't worry, man. It's fine. It's no problem at all, man. I appreciate your internet troubles. It's all cool, man. Don't worry, buddy.
Sorry.
Don't be silly at all.
Going back to that, my dad
Yeah.
then looked back, and I was stood between the sticks. And so from the age of 8 years old, that was it. I was there and stayed there ever since. Even when I was in, you'd go out and play out on pitch for a little bit, join in the outfield players. Yeah. I'd always end up working my way back, somehow defending the goal at some stage, even if I wasn't allowed to use my hands. So it was something that I've always done, and I love it, to be honest. I really do, yeah. Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant. Because you said some goalkeepers are like frustrated forwards, aren't they? So like I remember famously David James, and I remember God bless him, Les Seeley went up front, didn't he, for us against Arsenal, and it seems they're slightly frustrated. You look at now with people like Edison, who could easily play. He played in midfield during like a pre-season game list this season for Man City. But as you said, for you it was always wasn't it? It was always that time. But no, it's cool, man. It's really, really cool. Steve, I'm going to let you go before you're because of the storms. I don't want you to suffer any more of your internet access. But I really, really appreciate your time, my friend. Thank you so much for it.
I appreciate it, and I do wish West Ham the very best this season and continued success.
And as long as you beat Paul Ince's side on Saturday, that's all good, man. It's all good. I'm joking.
Yeah, that's good. Pretty good.
Cheers, Steve. Well, I'll kick you out, so don't worry about leaving, man.
Yeah,
Speak
thanks
to you
very
soon,
much. I
man.
appreciate that.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there we go. We got Steve on, albeit apologies for technical difficulties and stuff. But nice 11, wasn't it? Nice 11, and that's some nice questions. I appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. Appreciate another. Thank you very, very much. Obviously, Steve, bit technical difficulties. But as you said, it didn't really matter with all the everything that's going on in all the storms. Have they changed the name? We've had Franklin. Is there a G yet? There's G yet. Anyway, in terms of what's happening in the Europa League at the moment, because that's what's important. So currently, in terms of who've qualified, Seville, Porto, Atalanta and Leipzig have qualified. So these are the guys we can draw. One of these 8 teams, obviously, tomorrow. We'll be doing the live draw tomorrow. 11 o'clock it starts, and we'll be live from 11 o'clock. So join us, please join us. Currently, it looks like Barcelona are through. They're 4-1 up, 5-2 in aggregate with 5 minutes to go. It's Rangers are 2-2 with Dortmund, so it's 6-4 in aggregate to Rangers with 7 minutes left. Betis and St. Petersburg, currently it's 0-0. The Betis are 3-2 in aggregate, so the chance of they going through. And the interesting one actually is Braga versus Sheriff. It's 2-0 to Braga on the night. It's 2-2 going into 86 minutes, so that could go to extra time. So interesting. So... And obviously, at the moment, we've got, just looking down the list, obviously Leipzig and Dortmund can't draw each other. And also Seville, Barcelona and Betis potentially can't draw each other as well, which means, the chances are us getting a Spanish team could be 3-8, 3/8. Because obviously we can't draw any of the guys who won the group. So it's all of these guys. So... And you're right, Sharky. Lacazette scored a 95th minute winner, which is that a bad thing? I'd have preferred a draw, to be honest. But in terms of, obviously, they go above us now. Martin Godlinman just texted me, I hate Arsenal. There we go. Thank you. So obviously they've got above us now on 45 points, and we're on 42 points. But obviously playing Wolves on Saturday, a win there. They've got a game in hand, so a win would be very, very, very useful for us. Obviously, we're going to go to 45 points, and could go above Arsenal on goal difference. I think depends when the fixtures are happening, so we could go back up to 5th on the weekend. Who have Arsenal got? Arsenal have got. They're playing. We're playing on the Sunday. Who are Arsenal playing? Arsenal not playing. They got to be playing Monday. Of course, no. Chelsea obviously in the EFL final. Are Arsenal playing on Saturday? They're not playing. Are they? They're not playing. 1, 2. Have I missed it? No. Okay. Well, Arsenal don't seem to playing the weekend. Are they? I don't know. Arsenal won, which is a good result for us, as they will definitely finish ahead of us. Is it because of is it because of what's name? Is it because of the EFL final? It's the League Cup final on Sunday, isn't it? When we're playing. So, obviously, great opportunity for us to go back to 5th if we beat Wolves. And that opens up a 5-point gap, and they've got a game in hand. So that, even though they scored that won that game in hand, not too shabby Alonso. So, as I said, we had our 11 today in terms of Banksy's 11. And we went with, for those of you who have just turned up, I'll show you Banksy's 11. He very much stayed on, he stayed on the fence, bless him, in terms of, there we go, where is it? There we go. In terms of, he couldn't separate Ludo and Parksy, so I gave him that one. So either or in goal, and the other one on the bench. His back four was Dix, Alvin, Reg and Tonka. Midfield was Kevin Keane, Liam Brady, Paul Ince and Stuart Slater. Different names as well. I love it. It was different names. And then up front, he had Leo Rossinia and he had McAvenny as well. So again, there's some people we don't hear a lot of, that, in terms of Slates will be happy. I'll see him on Sunday. I'll tell him he got picked. He'll be happy. And people like Leo Rossinia, great player for us. Obviously Paul Ince when he was playing for us. Obviously Liam Brady, Kevin Keane. So, a nice little 11. A nice 11. And I appreciate there were some technical difficulties, but it doesn't matter. We got Steve on there. Another goalkeeper. I think it might be our 8th goalkeeper. There's a few glaring sort of gaps two being the two that he's picked. So hopefully we'll get at least one of them on soon. Dortmund are out of the Europa League. Are they out? Is it finished? Are they out? Yeah, the game hasn't finished yet. Is it? It's 90th minute. Barcelona through. It looks like the Braga Sheriff match will be going to extra time, I think. So yeah, I think so. We'll see. So that's all good. As I said, we'll be doing it live from 11 o'clock tomorrow as well. We've tried to get Bernard on, actually. Yeah, good point. And obviously, there's Robert Green. We've done quite well on goalkeepers. You look through all of it. We've interviewed a lot of goalkeepers. We've had Tom McAllister. We've had Jimmy. We've had Stephen Bywater, we've had Shaka, we've had David James, we've had Tom McAllister, we've had Bobby Ferguson, lots of goalkeepers, more so than any other position. Ian Foyer as well. So there we go. Could Aubameyang play for Barca in the obviously you mean Europa League? He did score today. So I imagine he can play. So he's not cup tied because he scored. He scored the 4th goal. So if we do play them, obviously they beat 4-2 today. Napoli. Insigne scored for them. Or Politano scored in the 87th minute. Barca, Jordi Alba, De Jong, PK, and Aubameyang. 2 assists from Adama Traore. It is a bit unfair, isn't it? It is a bit unfair. What about Sevilla? I mean, Seville can. That means what's his face can play, can't they? Can Martial play? Did he play today? Let's have a quick look. Was he on the bench? No, he wasn't on the bench. El Nesri came on for Seville today. There we go. Porto, who scored for Porto? Did Toby Martinez play for Porto? Let's have a look. Obviously he scored the other day. Felipe Anderson obviously for Lazio, and Martinez started. He started for Porto today, so and they obviously went through. So currently with seconds to go at the moment, it is in terms of who we have coming through. Let me just edit that. So we've got Seville, Porto, Atalanta, RB Leipzig, Barcelona, Rangers, Real Betis. Oh no, tell a lie. 90th minute equaliser for Zenit St. Petersburg against Real Betis. It's 3-3 on aggregate going into the 90th minute. So that's going to go to extra time. So that's going to be Betis or Zenit. And then Braga or Sheriff. So that's how it's panning out at the moment. Those two look like those two matches going to extra time. Looks like what we got here. Zenit, I know, just made it 3-3, and you know we're going to get Zenit St. Petersburg next round, and it's going to be behind closed doors. So at the moment, these are the teams we could be drawn against. One of these, obviously, we can't be drawn against any of the group winners. Great incentive to have won the group, wasn't it? Really, in all honesty. Sevilla, Porto, Atalanta, RB Leipzig, Barcelona, Rangers, they're definitely through. And then, as you said, I think Zenit's goal's been chalked off. I think it's gone to VAR. Has it gone to VAR? It says goal, and then it's been taken off. Let's have a look on the live text. Overturned. So it's not so we might not get Zenit St. Petersburg. So at the moment it is, as we stand, it is Betis is through. How exciting. The excitement of the Europa League. It was overturned by VAR, that goal was. So it looks like Betis are going to be through. So we could have the Pellegrini Moyes clash. Who knows? Real Sociedad didn't get through. They lost 3-1 to Leipzig, so we couldn't go into Moyes' old club, but we could go. It could be going to Pellegrini's current club, who wears a tracksuit. Indeed, I know. Very lucky. There's a picture of Anton. Put a picture of me today. I wonder if it's still on. Is it still on here? Where is it? It's a picture of Pellegrini in a tracksuit, and it's hilarious. Where is he? Where's Pellegrini's tracksuit? So I'm trying to find it. Trying to find it. Bless him, in a tracksuit. He looks like an old man. He looks like such a funny old man. There he is. Look, he's in a tracksuit. Look at him. In a tracksuit. Look at that Kappa tracksuit. That looks about from the 1980s. That looks like something from the firm 80s, whether it is 85 or 83. That's what it looks like to me. Bless him. So there we go. VAR doesn't want a team in a competition. Oh, scandalous. So currently that's how it's looking. As I said, it would look like that Braga and Sheriff will be going to extra time. Barcelona definitely through. That game's just finished 4-2. As I said, Dortmund, it looks like, as I said, it's 6-4 in aggregate to Rangers. It's exciting. That's why, 11 o'clock, join us for the live draw. The live draw tomorrow. It's going to be fun. Pick one. I'll pick one. Barcelona, such a beautiful horizon, Barcelona. Sorry for those of you wearing headphones. That's what I want. That's what I want. I want Barca. I want the glamour tie. I don't want us to be drawn against Sheriff. No disrespect to Sheriff, but I want the glamour tie. That's why I want to be. I mean, particularly with Dortmund out now, it was either Barcelona or Dortmund. I want Barcelona. Because you've got to play these teams anyway if you want to win the league, if you want to win it. But B, this is the reason why we got into the Europa League. We thought we'd do a nice. To be honest, I was quite disappointed. When we did our draw for the group stages. We didn't really have anyone famous, so to speak. We didn't have a Lazio or you know what I mean. We didn't have those types of teams in there, or Napoli. But I want a big boy. Oi, big boy, what's your name? I want Barcelona. So that's what I want. Now Freddie Mercury. Well, they call me the bowling Buble, or the London Stadium Sinatra. So there we go. Particularly when I talk a little bit closer to the mic, more like the bowling Barry White. But yeah, that's who I want. Who do you want? Obviously, me and Anthony did a show yesterday, and we did a show this afternoon about what you need to know. Go back and check it out. It's like who we can draw, who we can't draw, that type of thing. The chances are there's extra time being played, obviously, at Braga. 6 minutes extra time. Dortmund's finished with Rangers. So, as I said, there is what's that divided by that. So, in terms of playing a Spanish team, we have a 38% chance of drawing a Spanish team. Because there's 3 Spanish teams in there, but also the Spanish teams can't play each other. Same as Porto and Braga as well. So there we go. But who do you guys want? Sharky wants Rangers. I would like Porto and see Tony Martinez against Zuma. There we go. That'll be good. I'm Braga for James. A nice little trip. See, Braga, I think, is a compromise because you're going to go to a nice place because the weather will be nice, but it's not Porto. And Porto are smashing it in the league at the moment. Braga aren't as much so. We don't want to go to Ibrox, Sharky. We don't want Ibrox to come to us as well. Could you imagine what it's going to be like? It'd be awful, wouldn't it? It'd be awful. Oh, I love it. As I said, we'll be back here 11 o'clock. The West Ham Daily Show will be at 12 o'clock tomorrow. It will be 11 o'clock tomorrow to cover the live draw. Myself will definitely be here. Anton, Anton's had a late injury test, a late fitness test. So I don't think he's going to be around. Still might be around, but if not, I'll be running it. So that'll be good. And then we'll be doing the press conference for the Wolves game. And I'm sure there'll be reference to that in the Moyes press conference. Anton will be doing that in the afternoon, probably about 3 or 4 o'clock. That's when he usually does it. And then Anton will be doing the warm-up, the preview show for the Wolves game on Saturday night. Sunday doing the watch-along, and hopefully me and Stel will meet up for the highlights show. If not, I'll do it outside like I did last time, because I don't want you guys to wait too much. It'll be great. So it'll be a Westfield invasion. There we go. For sure, Sharky. Oh, for sure. So it's finished. Betis are through. The draw tomorrow, 11 a.m. We'll be doing it live. Make sure you hit the bell notification. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. I'm literally going to put up the show any second now. So you can go on there and set yourself a notification so you don't forget. So even if you don't want to come and see us, it'll come up and go, oh, the draw's on. Shit, let me go and do that. So we'll be putting the draw on. I think it's on Sky Sports, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but we'll be doing it live. So make sure you join us, and we'll get the thoughts of the people. Get your thoughts as well. And obviously that kicks off 9 days. So it's not next week, the week after. So there isn't long. I've seen people already put together their. They've all 8 potential clubs they've set up, in terms of the cities, they've booked hotels already through booking.com for like 40, 50. They cancel them all, so on free cancellation, but keep the one they want. I think it's very clever. But anyway, thanks for your time today. Obviously, thanks to Steve as well. And thanks to all our lovely members. If you want to become a member, hit the join button down there. We have loads of cool shows. Last night, we did our first members show on Tuesday. Last night, we had the Jeff Hurst Appreciation Night, which was great with Martin and Nigel. Obviously, we had Steve on today, which was really, really interesting. And if anyone's got a spare quid, myself and John Ratomski, we're doing the charity Bobby Statue Walk, or the 3 statues of Moore, we'll call it, in less than a month's time, walking from Wembley to London Stadium to the bowling. If you want to join us for a pint, it'll be at the bowling probably about 4 or 5 o'clock, unless I've collapsed. So feel free to join us for a pint at the bowling on the 19th. And supporting the Iron Food Banks for their Easter egg appeal. So everyone, I hope everyone, exactly, Dortmund are out, so it's one gone. I think actually that's the first. Tell a lie, no, tell a lie. Because the first 4 games that happened were all the Champions League third placers, and then Barca was a third placer, but Rangers obviously they came up in the second spot in the Europa League, and so did Betis as well. And Braga, so we'll see. But anyway, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. We'll be back tomorrow, lunch or 11 o'clock for the draw. And I'd like to thank all of our lovely channel members, as always. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.
It's like a family tree.